What's good, y'all? Everyday Podcast, episode 48. And today, my guest is artist, teacher, used to do music back in the day, a transplant from Milwaukee that is in Houston. Tay Butler, man, how you doing?
Man, I'm good, bro. I really appreciate the opportunity, man. Chop it up with
No
you, man.
problem,
I've been following from afar on a weekly basis. I play that intro from you and Rizzy Tate.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, and you did the cover for us. You did the Fresh Alamo 3 cover.
Yeah. So I'm a fan, man. So appreciate it.
Man, no problem, man. How has it been being in Houston? Well, how long you been here?
So I moved here January of 2015.
Okay.
And so it was about a year and a half process from the time that I said I'm about to think about moving. And then, what really pushed the button was when the Michael Brown incident happened in Ferguson, right? And so that was one of the first moments that I ever, evaluated my life from a standpoint of, what are you doing? Like, and what do you want to be doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, that was the first time that I cried over somebody I didn't even know.
Yeah, man.
And so at that point, I just looked around. I was like, okay, I made great money. My kids straight. I had just took the kids to Disneyland.
Yeah.
But it was like, this not it. It's not it. I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like who I'm doing it around. I felt like I had outgrew Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
So, me and my girlfriend at the time, now wife, masterminded like, hey, where would we go?
Yeah.
And Houston was number one just because we had already knew people from there.
Yeah.
And the way that the migration works is you go where you see other people have success.
Yeah.
So, my bro Chris was here already doing his thing, and a couple
Shout out
other
to
homies.
him, man. Hope he get better too. He just had surgery.
So he was down here doing his thing, and she had family and loved ones doing their thing. So we picked Houston, and it's been 7 years, and we now starting to feel like everything is getting cemented for me personally.
Yeah,
because I had to start all over.
Yeah,
I didn't go into a job. I didn't transfer positions or nothing. It was pure reset.
Starting all over.
All the way over.
So you didn't have a job when you came down here?
I didn't have no job. I used to work at We Energies. I was a boiler engineer at We Energies in a valley, in a power plant. So that's a dream job. Like everybody I know wants to try to get into We Energies, right? I remember when I got that job, I was so happy I put it in my voicemail. I now work for We Energies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's, where we from. Like, you made it once you get We Energies money.
That's a fact.
So, and it was beautiful until it wasn't no more.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't good at the job. I was good enough to not get fired.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I'm saying? And like I said, it wasn't, the type of people that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. So, it really just turned into a thing where I just wanted to live intentionally. I wanted to live in a way that made sense to me, but also like something that I can influence my kids to want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know for some people that sound corny because again we're practical. Black people are practical.
Yeah.
Our job is to get money, take care of our families. But you can get money and take care of your family and have passion about what you're doing.
Yeah, you're right.
Build something that you own. Build something that you can pass down.
Mm-hmm.
So when those things became important to me, then it became important to relocate. And here we are, man.
Man, and you doing your thing too, man. I must put some like B-reel like the clips of your stuff, man. Some of your work because you got some dope stuff in here.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. It really came from me. In that trying to live intentionally, it was like, okay, I want to understand myself, you know, and I start asking myself questions like, number one, why is my family from Milwaukee? Like, how did we get to Milwaukee? Like, that's a weird city to be black in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So then you find out your family's from Alligator, Mississippi. And then you find out, well, why did y'all leave Mississippi?
Mm-hmm.
And so you start finding out all about how that went.
Yeah, how they trickled up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know my family from Dearmont, And my one of the Thanksgivings or one of the times we was together, they was explaining like one person would come up here, will go up to Milwaukee and send money back, and somebody go just to get somebody else to come back up there. And, you know what I'm saying? They did it that way until everybody was up there.
Yeah, it's like a train.
Yeah.
You know, you're just connecting cars to the next car to the next car. And so gradually, and so as you'll notice now, you know, in Houston, there's so many people from Milwaukee
coming back now.
Right. So the Bucks play the Rockets December 11th, and we always go. Right?
I went last year.
Every time you go, you're gonna see 30% of the crowd wearing Bucks jerseys, and then you go right in that front where the bar is. And you're going to see all the Milwaukee.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to see all the Too Cools.
Ray Nitty and all
Ivan,
the
everybody. You're going to see everybody that's from Milwaukee congregate in this little bar area. And it's almost like a family reunion.
That's a fact.
What I'm saying? So the way that we move as black people is always been really interesting to me. So that's what you see in my studio, just a real obsession with the black image, with the archive, but also like how and why do we do the things we do.
What do you call your type of art that you do?
I guess, you know, when I hand out bios, it'll say multimedia, mixed media.
Okay.
I went to school for photography, so I graduated from University of Houston with photography degree, and then I went to Arkansas to get my master's in photography.
Okay.
And so the beauty of photography is that you don't have to stay in photography. So, like, as long as it's image-based, you can do anything.
Yeah.
So let's say you went to school for painting. You can't go to school for painting, but then decide, I want to make pots and pans, because those things don't correlate.
Yeah.
But if you go to school for photography, or you call yourself a photographer, and you take a picture and then paint that picture, it's still technically photography. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'm using collage, if I'm using different photographic imagery or images or whatever. So I would say, you know, multidisciplinary, but definitely my focus is photography and collage.
That's dope, man. And I see you use a lot of, like you say, black images, but I think it you can see you in your art too, because of the sports and the music and just the black images, man. It looks so dope.
Yeah, like I say, like trying to understand, like, why do everybody hoop in Milwaukee? Right? Like a basic, just ask yourself basic questions.
Yeah.
Why, as black people, are we so enamored with basketball? Why not baseball? Like Latin America loves baseball. Why not, you know, football? Like, you know, certain communities love football, and we love football too, but not like basketball, right? So you start to research this stuff. You start to study like how we became, and some of it is obvious. There's a court, all you got to do is find a ball, and then you can play. So you don't have the needs that you have in football. You need space in football.
Yeah.
You need resources. You need materials. You need
Other
helmets. A lot of other people,
Yeah.
right? Complicated schemes. Baseball is kind of the same way. Obviously, black folks don't play a lot of like hockey or lacrosse or other things. Golf, because those are high caliber. You need some money to play that. Basketball is a thing that anybody can access. And that's the same reason why we love music, right? Anybody can access these things. But then there's other things that come about when you research it, like how closely related is basketball and dance, right? That's different from other sports. There's only one way to catch a football. But there's a million ways to dribble a basketball.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I played. I wasn't, you know, good or nothing. I didn't, you know, go to school or nothing like that. But you from Milwaukee, you play. You go to Sherman Park, you play Warning, you play Project, you know, Blacktop, you play. So, you know, I wanted to go back in time to when black people did not dominate basketball. So I'm thinking about the 1900s when black people weren't allowed in AAU. They weren't allowed in the YMCA.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't play in college, right? Well, a lot of people don't know this, but black people use basketball as a way to strengthen the community.
Okay.
They use it as a way to connect with other people. There was only one way that you can connect with another black person from across the city.
Yeah.
And that was church or basketball.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm thinking back to that. How can we use basketball today to, reconnect the fibers of this so-called black community? Whatever you call your black community, how can we use basketball as a tool for that rather than it just be something that people use to try to make it to the league? You know what I'm saying? So that's why you see a lot of that. And then music, just in general, music is a life force. So it's always going to be a part of what I'm doing.
What made you stop doing music?
I mean, you get to an age where it's like, okay, is this what I'm going to do, or is this the way that I'm going to express myself? If that answer is a little obscure, then you got to let it go. Now, I've always written. I've always, me and my brother Has Solo. Shout out to Has.
Shout out to Has.
We always like, man, we're going to do this last tape. So we slowly working on Silkies and House Shoes 3. But, once I became an artist, I didn't need music to express myself. And so I tell people this all the time, like, there's a reason why every black man has rapped at one point a time in his life. It's not because they want to be a rapper. It's just self-expression. Like, that is the clearest, easiest way to self-express, right? So you can become an author and write, but that takes technical skill. You gotta go to school for that. You gotta practice for that. You can become a visual artist, but that takes practice and access to resources. Yeah. You can rap anywhere. You can write a rap and find a way to say it, especially now with the materials.
The tools.
You can find a way to rap anywhere. And we know what we get when we're successful at rap, so that makes even more people chase it. I have a love-hate relationship with the culture at the moment. I think about the Takeoffs and the Nipseys and this culture that we keep spreading around us of elitism and we're so obsessed with being different or better than each other instead of connecting to each other. So I hate that part, but I love that people can mythologize themselves into who they want to be. I just wish they wanted to be more like somebody that puts positive energy out instead of always want to stun or stand on somebody's neck. You know what I'm saying? If we can get more of that, if we can get more of a balance. Because there's always going to be humans that want to be better than other people. We're never going to get that out. We're never going to get negativity out. We're never going to get violence out. That is inherent in our human nature. But if we can balance it to where more people want to put good out, we'll get somewhere.
Yeah. How do you feel about Ye at the moment?
Well, look, I was kind of off Kanye before all of this stuff. Like, there's people mad at him now, but I was mad at Kanye when he was running around on his little
the last little stint when he said slavery was a choice. That one
that wasn't as much, even though it was goofy. I think he say stuff and it come out wrong. I was more off Kanye when he was going around to all them black radio stations and talking so disrespectfully.
Oh, yeah,
to
I remember
people.
that. Yeah, I remember that.
And I've always wondered why it's so easy for Kanye to talk so crazy to us, but he won't talk that way to them. I never understood that. And so, that's when I was kind of looking at Kanye funny, like, oh, you will go and speak to another black woman that's your elder,
man,
like she a child. But, in front of Ellen DeGeneres, you a little baby.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy to me, right? Now, as far as the new stuff, I think Kanye is a person who likes to remain relevant. Relevance is his his calling card.
Yeah.
He judges you on how relevant you are, and also how you can dress.
Right? Yeah.
So he knows that musically he's not as relevant as he used to be. And he said that often. He always talks about how jealous he is of Drake's attention and how Tyler created videos better than his. And he always talks about those types of things. Kendrick's ideas better than his. So this is what he has to do. He has the power and the influence through his actions and through his clothes, fashion choices. So he gonna just amplify that.
Yeah.
So that's what I think he doing. As far as the Jewish stuff, I just think that was just some narcissistic stuff where he was like, I'm gonna show you how powerful I am.
Yeah.
And it came back and bit him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Totally different from the Kyrie thing, where Kyrie is just on some Black Hebrew stuff. And whether you believe it or not, it's still an idea. There's still a lot of Black people that think that Black people are the original Jews. And I'm not here to tell them they wrong. That don't make them anti-Semitic. That just means they don't have the same religious convictions you have.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where that go. Now, as far as me, I ain't got nothing to say about Jewish folks. Cause
we never do though. That's what I'm saying.
We never do, and we know how this go. We've seen this before from the days of Michael Jackson, and Farrakhan to whoever. So we know that any difference with that community will lead to something. So as you can see in my art, I don't do none of that. I don't do any pointing the finger at white people. I don't do that.
Mostly just uplift Black people.
I'm racism will always be around. I'm what you would call a Afro pessimist.
Okay.
Frank Wilderson, an author and activist, scholar, whatever you want to call him, wrote a book called Afro Pessimism, and the basic tenet is that Black people will always be seen as slaves.
Okay.
AKA racism will never die. And I believe that. I believe that once people have an advantage, they will work hard as hell to keep and maintain the advantage. Because think about the advantage that we have as men over women. You don't see a lot of men running to relinquish that power. Yeah. Right? So I know that racism will always be a part of my life. But rather than keep the attention on what they're supposed to do and try to play to their morality, I'd rather look internally and look at us and think about, well, how are we treating each other? Because that's going to always be there. But there's some things that me and you can do as brothers to make the struggle easier. Yeah. And that's why I'm talking about, like, us connecting. Like, you know, I understand, man, like, you know, we didn't come from nothing. We ain't ever had nothing. So once you get something, you want to differentiate yourself from other people as fast as you can. As soon as you got enough money, you're going to move out where the other folks is. As soon as you got some money, you're going to go get that Tesla or that car that you don't necessarily need. You're gonna wear them chains. You're going to put that Baccarat on. You're going to do whatever. You're going to do whatever you got to do to show that you got it. Yeah. That's us, and that's part of us, and that's part of our culture that people love about us. They love that we gonna put that shit on. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you know, we can't sit here and act like, oh my God, what happened to insert rapper here, when we know that that's an energy. That's an energy. We keep trying to reduce it to individual instances, but it's really an energy. It's really an energy that we keep manifesting, and I feel like it's a way to put that shit on without telling everybody else how broke they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a way to be your best self, and it's a way to be confident, and it's a way to shine without tearing somebody else down. And that's the energy we got to address. That's what I think. And then also, like, you know, part of my thesis statement when I graduated from Arkansas was, you know, rejecting the black is not a monolith thing. Yeah. So you hear people say that all the time, black is not a monolith. Well, when people are usually saying that, they're saying it in a non-productive way.
Mm-hmm.
They saying it in a way like, well, I don't do what you do, so we not the same.
Yeah.
Or they saying it like, well, I do this and it's different from what y'all do. We not the same. Black is not a monolith.
Yeah.
That's not productive to me. You know, for me, I'm more interested in how do we create a monolith?
Yeah, exactly.
How can we be individuals inside of a community?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what so that's why you see so much basketball. So you'll see like a woman in African garb dribbling the basketball. You see Barack Obama shooting a basketball.
Yeah.
You see football players with a basketball. I'm thinking about a black monolith. I'm thinking about putting us back on equal plane like we were before the 60s when we got all our rights. Once we got our rights, then black people just went to their corners and stopped messing with each other.
Yeah.
Back when we had to mess with each other because we had to get our rights, that was the last time that we were connected.
Yeah.
So how do we get that back? That's what my art is really obsessed with.
Well, is Houston? Was that one of the reasons why you came to Houston because of the black culture down here?
Absolutely. Like, and remember, I didn't even know I was going to do art back then. So when I first moved here, I was just like, I just want to be in a place where black people doing their thing in abundance. Yeah. Because I'm not trying to say that black people not doing their thing in Milwaukee. It's just at a much smaller scale, right? You know, we only got a couple. You know,
I mean, it's what is it, the third, fourth biggest city in America?
Yeah, number four. So you got New York, LA, Chicago, Houston. And so I wanted my kids to be in a city that wasn't as segregated as Milwaukee.
Man.
Cause I had a lot of friends through the military that would come visit me in Milwaukee, and they would always be like, "Dang, bro, it's like when I'm in your neighborhood, it's all black, and then when you take me somewhere, it's all white." I'm like, "What is that? Like, where your black places at?" And I'm like, "We got those, but in Milwaukee, it's like you have to choose one or the other."
Yeah.
So if you want a place that's upscale, or you want to live in a neighborhood that's of high value, it's probably not going to be an all-black neighborhood. Yeah. So, moving here was the first time that I ever had a neighbor that wasn't either black or white. I had a neighbor on the right from Laos. My neighbors across the street was Mexican. White folks next door. We had some Africans around the corner. Like, I had never lived in that type of community
diverse
before. And then also it's the South. So, the saying goes in the South, you can get close, just don't get too big. In the North, it's the opposite. You can get big, you just can't get close.
Oh, okay,
right?
yeah.
So that's why the North, whether it's Milwaukee, Chicago, Gary, St. Louis, Detroit, Cleveland, all these cities are hyper segregated. Yeah. Because, as black people started to come up, white people needed to box them in. Yeah. Every one of those cities has a Bronzeville for that reason.
Okay.
Right. Whereas the South was different. Like, they used to having black people around. But if they feel like you shining too much, they're going to try to take it from you. Right. So, I moved here for that, but then once I got into art, I was like, oh, I wouldn't be able to do half of the things I'm doing if I was still in Milwaukee. Because we don't have the infrastructure for that. We don't have enough galleries. We don't have enough, I don't even think we still have a black bookstore in Milwaukee.
I don't think so either.
It used to be one on King, and the last couple of times I went home, it ain't there no more. Yeah. So, it's more things here. And it's levels, right? So there's things here, but it's less of it. Whereas if I went to Chicago, it's probably 1,000 black bookstores. Yeah. You go to New York, it's 10,000 black bookstores, right? So it's levels in the city stuff. Houston is that next level up from Milwaukee or whatever, right? At some point, I'm going to have to expand beyond Houston, right? I'm going to have to get
to go to one of those cities, yeah.
LA spaces, because as an artist, it's all about exposure. But right now, it's been beautiful because Houston is very, very community based.
It definitely is,
and that's different from Milwaukee.
How's the black art scene out here?
You know, it's pros and cons. So the pro is it's very community based. So everybody takes care of each other, and everybody looks out for each other. I've been able to build a very nice community around me, friends, partners, and collaborators. The con is it's not a Chicago, LA, New York, and it's just not a lot of money in the institutions.
Okay.
So there exist institutions, but they're still like at a baby level compared to like a Studio Museum in Harlem.
Yeah, okay.
Or Stony Arts Bank in Chicago, or something like that, right? So Houston is trying to change that. Houston has a reputation as an oil and gas city.
Yeah.
It's taken a while for them to come around to the arts, and so it's building. It's just slow motion. But as far as the community is great. Like we got Project Row houses. We got Lawndale. Black women that are really taking care of the people in the CAM and in the row houses and other positions around the city and in FAH. So, there's definitely some stuff that we wish was better. Yeah. But overall, it's been good. It's been good.
What really got you into art? Because you said when you came down here, you hadn't. So how long you been doing it?
Well, I've always been an artist, and that's the crazy thing. Yeah. So like, I used to enter like creative writing contests like in elementary school. I used to draw and anybody that know me from when I was a kid or in high school, they tell you I'll draw all the time.
Drawing a notebook, yeah.
So you'll be sitting in class and I done drew a picture of you, you know what I'm saying? So drawing was always a part of what I did. And then when I graduated high school, I enrolled into the Art Institute in Atlanta. I was going to move to Atlanta, where my uncle lived, and go to art school. Yeah. But I ended up changing my mind and going to the Army.
Oh, okay.
Went to the Army, and then got out, and then I was going to go back to art school.
Yeah. Had them pay for it.
Right. So it was more like, I got the money now. Let's go and go. Yeah. But then I gave my little sister the keys to my car. I had a Malibu at the time. It was like a 99 Malibu. And she crashed the car, and I didn't have insurance. Ooh. So she totaled the car, and long story short, I never made it. Yeah. So at that point, art kind of died. Because it was like, I got to make money. I got to pay this damn car. Yeah. And then I started deploying. So I started to go to Iraq. I went to Iraq twice. I went to Kosovo. I went to Germany, a couple places. Yeah. And then I got back and got the We Energies job. And so at that time, I wasn't an artist. I was more like, communicating and expressing myself through music. And I would make like album covers for mixtapes or whatever. So it wasn't until maybe say 2014 that I think I started to slowly like make collages again. Okay. And not like this, but more like putting stuff on the wall. So I would always like tear stuff out of magazines, collage stuff on the wall. And so like this is how my wall would look back home. You know what I'm saying? So I would say maybe 2014 is when I started to like think about art again and like go to art shows. Yeah. I had never like went to art shows before. I think I went to an art show in like 2013 or 2014. It was 30 Americans at an art museum in Milwaukee. And I just slowly started to go to shows and buy art books and buy art magazines. And so when I moved down here, I was really thinking like, man, I'm going to go back to art school, man. Like I still had all that Army money. Yeah. So it was like, man, I'm going to go back. and I wanted to go to TSU.
Okay,
I wanted to go
yeah.
to HBCU, but they didn't have graphic design program.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I went to University of Houston.
Yeah.
And then after a year of graphic design, I was like, I don't want to do graphic design either. You know, I don't want to make flyers for a church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when I converted over to photography, and then that's
to go from there.
From there.
How was your experience in the military?
Yeah, the military was weird because I was there, but I wasn't there. Like I wasn't applying myself. I wasn't like trying to get promoted. I wasn't, what you would call a good soldier. I was just getting a check, but I would like go on deployments because I think I've always been the type of person that seeks out experiences. So I was willing to go overseas, even if it was a dangerous mission. I was willing to go. My first deployment, we lost like 6 people. The second deployment, we lost like 2 people. One of them to suicide. Since I've been out, so I've been retired. I've been retired after 21 years.
Oh, that's what's up. My guy just retired from here too.
Yeah. And so, but the crazy thing is, like, I know 2 people who 1 year after retiring committed suicide. So, like, it's weird because I think me not being present and not being, like, just into it, that probably saved me on the real to real.
Yeah.
Because the 2 people that I know who, committed suicide was like true blue soldiers. You know what I'm saying? Lifelong, everything they do is soldier. And unfortunately, man, they not here, man. Good dudes, man. John James was one of them.
Okay.
And my other sergeant. So it that part always tripped me out, that like I didn't know that I was potentially saving my own life by not being invested in the military. Like, it was just a job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, even as I say that, I know that a lot of who I am and what I do came from the military. So me being on time.
Yeah, discipline and stuff like that.
My discipline. One of the benchmarks of the military is to improve your position. And what that means is once you build a position and get ready for war, when you have downtime, you have to keep improving that position. So if your bunker is high enough, but it doesn't have enough cover, then you make more cover.
Okay.
So that's how I live my life. Like, I keep improving. Just because I had a good job at Wind Energies don't mean that that's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's more to do. There's more I can do. I want to have the life where I'm making good money and I'm in control of my time.
Yeah.
Why can't I have that? Most people would get that job and say, hey, it don't get no better than this.
Yeah.
And I'm just not that type of person.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that say, okay, it's cool now, but it could be better.
Yeah.
So let's work on it to make it better.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of what I get from the military that's made me better. In addition to some bad habits. So the military, unfortunately, teaches men how to be dependent.
Yeah.
You get everything given to you: your clothes, your money, your rent money, your food money.
Yeah.
Everything is given to you, and you don't ever have to hustle for nothing.
Okay.
So a lot of people get out the military and they don't know how to hustle.
Exactly.
So it's pros and cons, but I'm definitely blessed to be here.
Talk to me about your you just did a what do they call it, exhibit?
Yeah.
That was earlier this year, right?
Yeah, in June. So when I graduated in May, I came back home and had a solo show in June 24th. And so through the group I'm affiliated with, at least our group, my management, Mariah, put a show together for me. And, you don't never really know what to expect. It's kind of like, well, some folks will come out.
Yeah.
It ended up being really, 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 inspiring for me because, you know, some of my homies from back home came down, and you know, my brother and sister came in from out of town, and you know, a lot of people in the city came out and, you know, sold a good number of the work. So
that's dope.
It was real cool, man. And it was a lot of pressure at that time because I was just getting back home from school, and it was like
From Arkansas.
From Arkansas, and so it was like, man, I got all this debt, and I ain't got no job yet, and you know, stuff with my son, and so I'm like, I need the show to be this, and you know, it was a lot of pressure at the time, but it turned out being just how I needed to be.
How many pieces did you put up?
I put like 23 works up, so like the red and blue one up there at the top, the smaller ones in the black frames,
okay,
and then a couple other ones, and then all of the paintings that I had never shown before. Like this was my first time showing paintings. Yeah. Ended up selling all of them.
Did you?
Yeah. So yeah, man, I can't complain at all. It was a great night. You know, I felt good, made some money, so it was a win-win because a lot of people have shows and you don't know how they're gonna go.
Yeah.
You know.
You got a plan on doing another one?
I think you wanna do maybe a show a year, maybe two. I'm gonna definitely do another one. I don't know when or how or what it'll be about. I think right now I'm just building the work back up, just trying to get back to a space where I got some bodies of work and I can look at them and say, yeah, let's go with that. Yeah. Let's build a show around these.
I was about to ask you that.
12,
do you
15.
make like a theme? Is it a theme? Like a theme?
Yeah,
theme
so
to all of them.
My show in June was really just me. It was really just an extension of the Arkansas show.
Yeah.
So when you graduate in Arkansas, you have a thesis show.
Okay.
Right. So my thesis show was called NBA, No Anti-Blackness Allowed. So it was just thinking about using basketball as a tool. And so when I did the show in June, it was like, well, this isn't a show about basketball, but there's some of that work in it.
Yeah.
But this is really a show about change. The show was called At First Nothing Is.
Yeah.
And so I was rebuttaling against the famous cliche of it is what it is. You know, we all use that, right? It'd be like, well, racism always gonna be here. It is what it is. But at first, nothing is. Mm-hmm. Like racism wasn't here. So how can we reverse engineer back to that? Now, not necessarily racism, right? Because I think it's always going to be here. Yeah. But thinking more like, okay, let's just break it down to the macro. How do we bring back after school programs in Milwaukee? Because I remember being in school in Milwaukee and being able to go to Sherman Park Boys and Girls Club and kick it until 7 p.m. But those, not to say it don't exist no more, but it's harder to access now than it was. Instead of looking at that and saying it is what it is, well, how can we reverse engineer back to that? So maybe it can't happen at Sherman Park Boys and Girls Club. But maybe we can do something else somewhere else. Yeah. And maybe we can get some of the guys in the city that's really having it to contribute to that. Maybe we can get a couple grants from the city. Yeah. And maybe we can do some fundraising. Maybe we can do some concerts. We can figure this out.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
We just need more people to care. You know what I'm saying? And that's the hard thing, to get people to care about stuff that doesn't directly benefit them.
I was just about to say that.
And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm, Mahatma Gandhi and I'm just taking care of everybody, because I'm not. I'm still trying to take care of myself. But I've demonstrated, and I demonstrate on a daily basis, that I'm willing to give my time and resources and anything I can to people when it doesn't even benefit me. Yeah. Whether it's the art, whether it's the way I price my art, whether it's who I want to buy it, whether it's working with Cool Dad, whether it's who I choose to support. I'm always supporting somebody in the city for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking for you to pay me back months later. It's not a opportunist networking device. Like, I just want to see people
Genuinely
do their
just want to
thing.
see.
You know what I'm saying? And of course, like, it's part of relationships. When you do stuff for people, most of the time it come back.
Yeah.
But I don't do it for that. I've since I started art, I've always had two rules. I never say no unless I absolutely have to.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I just selflessly support other people.
Yeah.
So, you got a show tonight? I'm tired, bro, but I'm going to still come.
Pull up, yeah.
I'm going to come. Like, and people remember that. People remember
they definitely do, yeah.
Dang, Taby, he done came to every show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now when I have a show, they're going to pull up.
Pull up, yeah.
So that's how I try to operate, man.
Speak on the Cool Dad situation.
Yeah, so
because you made your own position, I said. He said,
yeah, man. So my brother Kevin, he real good guy, man. He's been in Houston for a long time, but he's originally from New York.
Oh, okay.
And so back in 2020, he decided to, this is the thick of the pandemic.
Yeah.
He decides, man, I wanna start something to as a kind of like a social group for dads. Right?
Okay.
Because let's talk about dads for a little second.
Yeah, talk about it, man.
It's a paradox, and
okay.
it's what came first, the chicken or the egg thing, right? So, as men, we're taught that our job is to provide and protect, nothing else, right? Your worth as a man is in those two abilities.
Yeah.
So men chasing that are taught or encouraged or allowed to reject every other responsibility they have as men, whether it's to encourage, inspire, nurture, guide, all of that stuff, right? All of the corny stuff that we leave for women.
Yeah.
Right? We leave those jobs for women because we're busy getting the bag, right? But then the truth is, like, a lot of women make more than their men, right? And or a lot of men just leave the family all the way out. So, like, that whole narrative is false, number one, but two, it's making an unfair burden on both of us. The father never gets the chance to provide more than money and muscle.
Yeah.
And the mother has to take on everything else, So not only do you have to have a job, but you got to take them to all the doctor's appointments, and you got to check all the homework, and you got to do all the emotional labor.
Yeah.
And when your daughter is this or that, you got to deal with the periods and this and that. Like, the woman has to do so much. And they exhausted, and the father's feeling left out.
Yeah.
Because they haven't built the skills to do these things. So that's what Cool Dad was about. Like, I want to get some dads together, and I want us to be able to talk about this stuff, and I also want us to, like, do things for other dads. So it's been slowly building to where now, like it's been some nice situations happening, from Land Rover recognizing us as 5 nonprofits that they allowed to get votes to get a nice little check and some resources. We do a lot of other things, from a gift drive. We got a color box gift drive this year that we've been doing the last 2 or 3 years. Like I said, with the Butler talk and different, people coming in. I had these conversations. A health and wellness retreat. We starting a podcast. We, a little run club. Just all these little things that allow fathers of color to come in and like know that they're doing good, but there's more to do. And it starts with you coming in. It starts with you making a commitment to the group. It starts with you being willing to volunteer when you're not gonna get something in return. It's a lot of that. So we just trying to just make it be as impactful as it can be. Yeah. And so my position is minister of arts. So through me and him talking, I know that different people have different talents.
Yeah.
His talent as an artist, not a hands artist, but a curating artist.
Okay.
He puts people together. He puts events together. He connects people.
Yeah. People don't think that's really a talent.
Real talent.
Yeah.
Like everybody, you can't just read a book and get that.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a person that can connect people. He's that guy, right? On the flip side of that, he's not a person that's going to sit down and write a 2-page grant paper, right? He's not a person that's going to research and read books and know how to articulate why basketball matters to black people.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
That's what you do.
Right? So with us combining what we do best, we can align that and make it, really, really take Cool Dad to the next level.
Yeah.
So I help with the writing the programs. When people come in for talks, I'll usually do those. So anything where it's more of the ideology and a little bit of the art too, like art direction and some of the assets that you may see on Instagram or whatever. I made some of those. So just kind of a little bit of everything.
How many dads are in the group?
It's a hard number to pin down. And that's one of the things we want to take care of coming up this year is we've always made it to where people can come in where they fit in.
Okay.
We didn't want a rigid military system where you have to come here, and if you're not here by 6:30, you're kicked out. We make it where, hey, if it's on your heart, you're gonna come.
Yeah.
Right. But with that, again, people are gonna do things that benefit them and their families.
Yeah.
So I think what we have to do is empower people, and we have to not just leave a revolving open door, but have it more like, what can we depend on you for? If you say you can do this, that, and the third, can we put that in your hands and you give it to us? And you know that we count on you for that. And I've trying to, encourage him to give people that power.
Yeah.
And so, so I would say, as far as board members, it's a good, anywhere between 6 and 8, and like everyday people that kind of work every day, it's about, 4 to 6. And then there's like just a big, huge community of brothers that have always, supported and been down and come in and come out and come to events, when their schedule or work allowed and family allowed. And so, I would say anywhere from, 30 to 60, something like that.
Damn, that's a lot.
But everybody's rocking with it, for sure. Like I wear, I'm wearing a T-shirt now, right? So every time I got a Cool Dad T-shirt on, somebody's like, I know what that is, man. How can I rock with y'all?
So y'all do events with the kids too?
Yeah, so, at Blackshear Elementary, like first day of school, first day of school is like a big thing, right? And so not everybody has parents that can be there for work or whatever other reason. And so, we show up to the elementary and we, kind of make like a little line and high five them and give them that encouragement. We've also had like little festivals, putting resources back in the community. Everything we do is free. Yeah. So, just bring the family out. Next Sunday or this Sunday coming up, we got free family portraits.
Oh, that's what's up.
With Fuji Fred, one of the best in the city. So, we're always just trying to do stuff where you have no reason not to come because it don't cost nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
We send people to Texans games, Rockets games,
Yeah.
a little bit of everything. But now we ready to, get out of the event based and get more into the programs.
Yeah.
And the programs is what's gonna help take
it
to the next level.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah.
So what else you doing? I know you're doing some teaching and stuff.
Yeah, man. I teach computer imaging at University of Houston. I teach drawing and art appreciation at San Jacinto. I do a little photography teaching at HISD elementary schools, just a couple hours a week, or I'm about to start after the holidays. And then otherwise, just I think with me, I have to stop. Okay, so the thing about art is there's traditional and then there's new school.
Yeah.
Traditional tells you keep everything offline.
Yeah.
Because if everything's online, then why do they need to pay for it?
Yeah.
But that's old. That's an old mentality, and it really isn't applicable anymore. But you still feel a lot of that in you because I'm taught by traditional teachers, right? I'm trying to convert my mind to a new school approach, which says everything should be online. And not because they can pay for it, but because that makes me a thought leader.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you think blackness and collage, and if you want to, you can throw a third signifier in with basketball. You should think of me.
Yeah.
Not because I'm the best or I'm better than anybody, but because I'm doing it so much.
Yeah.
I'm doing it so much. I'm putting so much effort and consideration and research into it. Like, you should think of me.
Yeah.
But when you go to my page, you don't see as much because I've withheld so much.
Okay.
I think this coming year I'm a reverse that. So with the presence on Instagram, with the podcast, with just all types of content, I think I'm a really, solidify myself as somebody who, if you need to talk about blackness and collage, I'm one of the people you need to be talking to.
Yeah.
And then other than that, just build the work back up. Just keep working, building it up. I'm also a new school artist where I don't want to just rely on sales or whether I did this or did that. I want to do some collaborations. I want to do my own shoe. I want to get some merch out here. Whatever I got to do, like I just want to create, and that's how I'm going to influence or make Milwaukee proud. It's not going to be being this quiet little ghost artist that you only know about if you make $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
Those people ain't gonna help me connect to the people from my city.
Yeah.
Milwaukee gonna love me when they see that I got my own New Balance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They gonna love me when they see that I've made some content that does the city proud.
Yeah.
That tells our story in a real way. My dream is to be the person who makes that movie about Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Right. We deserve our Moonlight. We deserve our The Wire or whatever you want to call it. Like, we deserve. It's time for us to tell about
our
Milwaukee.
stories. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
If I can.
How do you feel about NFTs? Since you're talking about putting your stuff on, people putting their stuff on.
I got 2 up, and this was a while ago, maybe a year ago. So it was really just to see what would happen. I'm actually the opposite, with all of the, excuse me, with all of the drop-offs in Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything. That makes me excited to get back into it because I know now that all of the vultures is kind of gone.
They out of it.
And I heard, I don't want to take credit for that. I heard another artist say that. The artist was like, somebody mentioned that, and they was like, "Aren't you scared to get involved with like crypto again?" And they're like, "No, this is this is the cycle.
Yeah.
It's going to be down. It's going to go back up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the time to get in.
Yeah,
now,
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
So that's kind of my approach. So I'm thinking about. I had this book I made called NBA Dress Code, and so I would combine photos of basketball photos with fashion photos.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about making that an
NFT
project, in addition to some other collages I got.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not like, oh my God, like this is the whole world is gonna be NFTs.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy, but I know that everything sounds crazy until it don't no more.
Exactly.
And what's happening with NFTs is the same thing that was happening 20, 30 years ago with the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And there were people who are kicking themselves every day because they didn't invest in Apple.
Exactly.
Right.
Or Google or one of those.
Or IBM or Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
My teacher in U of H, I'm going to withhold her name out of respect, but she literally told me she was approached to be one of the first, ground level investors in Microsoft. And she chose not to. She didn't understand it. She shoot herself every day.
I bet she do.
Every day. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know so much that I know that crypto is a scam. Are there scams? Absolutely.
Scams and everything.
But it's scams and everything.
Yeah.
Scams and stocks.
Yeah.
Scam. Go ask the GameStop.
Yeah.
People, you know what I'm saying? Scams in real estate.
Yeah.
Everything in this world can be stolen from you. That's not a good enough reason to not get involved. Just get involved in a way where don't put up nothing that you ain't afraid to lose.
Yeah.
And you'll be good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to dabble back in it. For sure.
What else you got coming up, man? I know you was talking about some projects can you talk about them yet?
2 of them I can't, but one of them, my mentor got a show coming, so I'm a provide some work for that. I got a big show coming that I can't wait to announce. It's my biggest show. The people that's in the show is like the people I grew up studying.
Yeah.
Not grew up, but since I've been an artist, the people that I'm studying.
It's gonna be here.
It's going to start in another city and then come
here. Okay.
So it's a traveling show.
Okay.
So this will be my first show that's traveling in a different state.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm real excited about that. Otherwise, I just got some little projects with some homies that again people come back to me because I show love and they show love back. So when they have something going on, they come to me like, bro, I want to include you on this.
Yeah,
so,
man.
So I'm just happy that I got people right.
Yeah, we got to collab and do some more stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
I'm always, I'm always willing to rock, man. When I be dreaming about doing this movie, every time I dream about doing a movie, like the opening sequence is the intro. The opening sequence is y'all intro. I promise you I'm not just saying that, bro. I swear to God, every time that song come on, like
you talking about the intro to the first one.
The intro, which one had the pink cover?
The first one, yeah.
So because it's in my running playlist, so I hear it a couple days a week.
Yeah.
Right. So every time that song come on, like my mind immediately goes to like, how movies always start with a montage.
Yeah.
It's like taking you through the city and all of that. And I be having this montage of like Lincoln Park in the summer.
Yeah.
And Jazz in the Park.
Yeah.
And Sherman Park and G's and all the little clubs and bars and Myron and them. Like I just see all of the staples of Milwaukee and that song as like
playing
one of the soundtracks.
I appreciate that.
Like Milwaukee has. I was just telling my homegirl this the other day. We haven't had anybody like breakthrough.
Yeah.
Right. We had a lot of near misses. Right. Cuckoo was so close.
Man.
Drew was so close. And, You know, even the new niggas like Webster X and Ishdar, all these people were so close.
Yeah.
And of course y'all and Rizzy and Nitty was so
they
close.
was right there.
And they just couldn't get there. And so the only one that we can say like really got in, I guess, was like Rico, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that was kind of different, right? And technically he don't even claim
the city.
Yeah,
claim the city, yeah.
Whatever. So like, but even with that, like we have like a lot of city anthems. Like there's a lot of anthems in the city. Like if you're from Milwaukee, you know these songs. And so that's one of them songs, right? Mm-hmm. Like Rizzy got one of them songs. Like Nitty got one of them songs, you know. So I just always had this dream of having this movie that represents Milwaukee, and the soundtrack is like all of these Milwaukee anthems.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, from Punk Hole to
yeah, for sure,
to Drew songs to whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's my dream, bro.
How often you get back to the city?
All the time. My son's still there.
So, okay.
I'll be back there on the 27th. Matter of fact, in December.
Yeah.
So you know, I always go home. I try to bring them down here just to get them out the city. But Southwest, for whatever reason, stopped doing the straight flight from Houston to Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. So now you got to do it through United, and they charge a unaccompanied minor fee both ways. So it's like $990 to bring him down here. So I got to go up there until he hit his age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I noticed that. I've been flying out of Chicago since they stopped the straight flights.
Yeah, so... but I'm always home. My grandmother's still there. My sister's still there. Mm-hmm. Everybody else gone. My mom's gone. All my brothers gone. It's just my sister and my grandmother and my uncle's still there. So, yeah. I still love going home, man. It's kind of scary driving. I don't know if it's died down a little bit.
No, it's
the Kia Boy.
No, it's still the same. It's still the same.
But other than driving, I love being home. I love. You know, as soon as I get home, I either go to cousins or go to the fish market or go get some corned beef, something I don't really eat no more.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to going to the Bucks game. So I love going home, man. It's just, once you're there for a little while, you be ready to go. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If nothing else, just the weather. Like, once you've been here for a while, it's hard to get back in that snow.
Like it's 60 degrees today. Like, and I just left there, it was 19 degrees.
Right, and you can throw a little shirt on and be straight. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And even when it's cold, it's only 40.
Yeah, I was just about to say, because it was kind of cooler when I got here.
Like last week has been cold.
Yeah.
But you still look at the screen, it's like 45.
Yeah.
It feels worse than this, but it's really only 40 something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I'm always there, man. Just the city always going to be in me. I just want to love it from a distance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to love it from a distance.
Yeah. All right, well, give them your socials or wherever they can find you.
Yeah, man, everything is Stay Close Tay on Instagram. That's probably where I am the most. Mm-hmm. Definitely obsessed with trying to lower my usage rate these days. But yeah, Instagram, my website, stayclosetay.com. And yeah, man.
Because you got merch on there too, right?
Yeah, man. The couple little hats up there and a couple little shirts, just some of the exercise ideas. Mm-hmm. I'm very much inspired by, Virgil, rest in peace.
Yeah, man.
Virgil was a huge influence. Not so much for the clothes and hype beasts, because I'm not really that into Off-White like that.
But the art.
But the art and the thinking, it was the thinking. I used to listen to his artist talks a lot. I used to listen to his speeches and interviews a lot, and I just really connected. You could tell like he was very, very, very well researched. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like he's talking about these things that you could only know about if you went to school for art. So, I like a couple of years ago, man, it was between Virgil and Arthur Jaffa and a couple of my other mentors, like it was just a steady diet of the things that they were talking about that helped me understand what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then just seeing how Virgil was able to build so much out of nothing. Obviously the proximity to Kanye was what did it, but just building so much from nothing. And some people hate on that because we get connected to this thing where, oh, well, everybody's talking about you. When I go look at it, I'm supposed to be wild.
Yeah.
But everybody's talking about him just because of the ideas. They're not talking about him because he's doing some other people not doing.
Yeah.
Because people feel the same way about my work. Like, I'm doing collage, but I'm not the one taking the photo, so they don't respect it. You know what I'm saying?
But still,
Virgil was the same way. He was a collage artist. He takes from other people. I find value in that.
Yeah.
I find value in resurrecting. Now, that's the difference. You can't be stealing people's shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people accuse Virgil of that, like stealing people's art. But I'm very much an appropriation artist, so Virgil is a big part of what I do, man. So yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, just thank y'all for supporting. I know we got a couple more before the end of the year. I'm gonna try to update it and I want to do more of these where I pull up on the person in their space instead of having them come to the office or the studio. So be expecting more of these where I can actually pull up to people's space because I know I wanted to do one with Chris, but because of the surgery, I couldn't pull up on him. But I want to do one of those too. I can go down there and go downstairs and holler at him.
Right.
See his space, man, because I done known him for forever. And to think where he came from,
yeah.
To think where he came from, like I didn't even know that he had a interest in photography, and to see what he's doing now is super dope, man. So, and with you, man, I'm super proud of you, dog. You doing some real dope stuff, man.
Man, I appreciate
so I
it.
definitely had to pull. You was one of the first person when I knew I was gonna be here for a while. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to tap in with everybody that I know is here.
Right.
So.
Man,
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you a lot.
Make sure you get back down here.
No, I'm coming back
December 11th for the game.
No, I'm trying to plan that out too because we're trying to take her daughter. So
for sure,
I'm definitely gonna try to figure it out how I can come right back because it's like 3 weeks from now or something like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna figure it out. Definitely
always a good time.
Yeah. I was here last year for the last year's game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a good time. But thank y'all for listening, and we'll be back next week.
All right, bro. Love.
Appreciate it.